Paris, October 1960. The Ritz Hotel, room 312. Marilyn Monroe stands at the window, watching the rain fall on Place Vendôme. The city is gray, cold, beautiful in its melancholy. She's been in Paris for 2 weeks, filming Let's Make Love with Yves Montand. The movie is a disaster. The chemistry is forced. The script is weak. The director is losing patience. But Marilyn doesn't care about the movie. She cares about escaping, about being away from Hollywood, about being in Paris, the city of love, the city of art, the city where maybe, just maybe, she can be someone else, someone real, someone free. There's a knock on the door. "Miss Monroe, your car is here. You have a meeting with the director in 30 minutes. Cancel it." Marilyn calls back. "Tell them I'm sick." "But Miss Monroe, cancel it." Her voice sharp, final, no argument. She hears footsteps retreating, whispered conversations, frustration, but she doesn't care. She's tired of meetings, tired of directors, tired of being Marilyn Monroe. She puts on a coat, a scarf over her hair, sunglasses, her disguise, her attempt at invisibility. She leaves the hotel through the back entrance, walks into the rain, no umbrella, just walking, letting the rain soak her, cleanse her, wash away Marilyn Monroe, even if just for a moment. She walks for an hour, through narrow streets, past cafes, past bookshops, past lovers holding hands under umbrellas. She envies them, their normalcy, their anonymity, their ability to just be, without performance, without image, without the weight of being an icon. She turns a corner, and she hears it. Music, piano music, coming from somewhere. A building, a basement, a door half open, warm light spilling out. And the music, beautiful, sad, haunting. She follows the sound, down stone steps, through the open door, into a small jazz club, nearly empty, just a few people, sitting at tables, drinking wine, listening, and at the piano, a man, maybe 35, dark hair, unshaven, wearing a worn sweater, his fingers moving across the keys, creating magic, creating emotion, creating something real. Marilyn sits at a table in the back, in the shadows, watching, listening. The music washes over her, fills her, heals something inside her she didn't know was broken. Or maybe she did know. Maybe she's always known. The man plays for 20 minutes, one song flowing into another. No breaks, no words, just music. Pure, honest, true. When he finishes, the small crowd applauds. Quiet, respectful, appreciative. The man stands, bows slightly, walks to the bar, orders a drink. Marilyn watches him, wants to talk to him, but doesn't know how, doesn't know what to say. How do you approach someone when you're Marilyn Monroe, when your face is known everywhere, when you can't just be a person? She stands, walks to the bar, sits 2 stools away from him. The bartender looks at her, recognition flashes in his eyes, but he says nothing, just nods. Professional, discreet. "Cognac," she says, her voice quiet, not breathy, not Marilyn, just normal. The bartender pours, slides the glass to her. She drinks, the warmth spreading through her. Courage, or foolishness, she's not sure which. "You play beautifully," she says, to the man. Not looking at him, just speaking into the space between them. "Thank you," he says. His voice is deep, accented, French, tired. "What was that piece?" "The last one. Something I wrote," he says. "It doesn't have a name." "It should," Marilyn says. "It's beautiful, sad, but beautiful." "Sad things often are," the man says. He turns to look at her, really look at her. Recognition, but not the usual reaction. No excitement, no stammering, no inappropriate comments, just a slight nod. "You're Marilyn Monroe." "I am," she says, waiting for it. The change, the shift, but it doesn't come. He just turns back to his drink. "You're far from Hollywood." "Yes," she says, intentionally, running away, trying to, she admits. "Does it work, running away?" "No," she says. "Honestly, you take yourself with you, and that's the problem." The man smiles, sad, understanding. "Yes, that is always the problem." They sit in silence, drinking, 2 strangers, connected by sadness, by understanding, by the music still echoing in the air. "I'm Étienne," the man says finally. "Marilyn," she says, then corrects herself. "Norma Jeane. My real name is Norma Jeane. Which do you prefer?" Étienne asks. Norma Jeane, she says. But no one calls me that anymore. No one remembers that name, that person. I'll call you Norma Jeane, Étienne says. If you'd like. Tears fill her eyes. Unexpected, overwhelming. Yes, she whispers. I'd like that very much. They talk for hours, until the club closes. About music, about art, about life, about loneliness. Étienne tells her his story. He was a concert pianist, trained at the Paris Conservatory, destined for greatness. But during the war, he was captured, sent to a labor camp. His hands were damaged, broken, tortured. When the war ended, he came back to Paris, tried to resume his career, but his hands were never the same. The precision was gone, the speed, the perfection required for concert performance. So he plays in small clubs, for small crowds, for drinks and tips, a shadow of what he could have been, what he should have been. I'm sorry, Marilyn says, for what happened to you. Don't be, Étienne says. I still have music. Maybe not the music I dreamed of, but music nonetheless. That's more than many people have. Do you resent it? Marilyn asks. What was taken from you? Every day, Étienne says, but resentment doesn't change anything. It just makes the loss heavier. So I try to let it go, try to find beauty in what remains. It's not easy, but it's necessary. Marilyn understands. More than he knows, she too had something taken. Not by war, but by fame, by image, by Marilyn Monroe, her real self, her authenticity, her Norma Jeane. Will you play something for me? She asks. Just for me, Étienne says. She's something in her eyes, desperation, loneliness, need. Yes, he says. They go back to the piano. The club is empty now, just them, the bartender cleaning glasses, pretending not to listen. Étienne sits at the piano. What would you like to hear? Something sad, Marilyn says. Something that understands. Étienne says, Étienne says, Étienne says, Étienne says, Étienne says, begins to play. The music is devastating, beautiful, and broken, like him, like hair, like everything real. Marilyn closes her eyes, lets the music fill her, lets it speak the things she can't say, the pain she can't express, the loss she can't articulate. Tears stream down her face. She doesn't wipe them away, just lets them fall, lets herself feel, lets herself break. When the music ends, silence, heavy, sacred, complete. Marilyn opens her eyes. Étienne is watching her. Thank you, she whispers. That was everything. You're welcome, Étienne says. He stands, walks to her, takes her hand. Come with me. Where? Somewhere, anywhere. Does it matter? No, Marilyn says. It doesn't matter. They leave the club, walk into the rain, still falling, heavier now, soaking them. They don't care. They walk through Paris, through empty streets, past closed shops, past sleeping buildings, just walking, together, two broken people, finding comfort in shared brokenness. They end up at the sign, standing on a bridge, watching the river flow beneath them, dark, eternal, indifferent. I think about jumping sometimes, Marilyn says, quietly, honestly, into the river, into the darkness, into nothing, just ending it. The performance, the pain, everything. I know, Étienne says. I think about it too. Why don't you? Because of the music, Étienne says. As long as I can play, I have a reason, a purpose, a way to speak when words fail. The music keeps me alive. I don't have music, Marilyn says. I don't have anything that keeps me alive, just pills, and alcohol, and the hope that tomorrow will be different, but it never is. You have this moment, Étienne says. Right now, this rain, this river, this conversation, this connection, that's something, that's enough. For now. Marilyn looks at him. This stranger, this broken pianist, this man who understands. Come back to my hotel, she says. Not seductive, not Marilyn Monroe, just honest, just human, just lonely. Are you sure? Étienne asks. Yes, Marilyn says. I don't want to be alone tonight. I don't want to go back to being Marilyn Monroe, not yet. Please, Étienne nods. Okay. They take a taxi back to the Ritz, sneak in through the back entrance, up to her room. Inside, Marilyn turns on one lamp. Soft light, shadows. She takes off her wet coat, her scarf, her sunglasses, stands before him. Just her, just Norma Jeane, vulnerable, real, human. I'm not what you think, she says. I'm not Marilyn Monroe, not really. That's just a character, a performance, a lie. I'm just Norma Jeane, nobody special, nobody important, just a woman, broken, lonely, desperate. Is that okay? That's more than okay, Étienne says. That's real, that's beautiful, that's human. He comes to her, touches her face, gently, reverently, not with lust, with tenderness, with recognition, with understanding. They kiss, soft, slow, not passionate, comforting. Two lonely people, finding warmth, finding connection, finding something real. They make love, gentle, sad, beautiful, not about desire, about need, about comfort, about not being alone, about being seen, about being human. Afterward, they lie in bed, her head on his chest, his arms around her, the rain still falling outside. Tell me about Norma Jeane, Étienne says. Who was she? Before Marilyn Monroe. Marilyn talks, for hours, about her childhood, the orphanage, the foster homes, the loneliness, the fear, the dream of being somebody, the transformation, the price, the loss. Étienne listens, doesn't interrupt, doesn't judge, just listens, understanding, accepting, loving. Not Marilyn Monroe, Norma Jeane. I wish I could stay here, Marilyn says. In Paris, with you, playing piano in small clubs, walking in the rain, being Norma Jeane, being real, being free. Why can't you? Étienne asks. Because I'm Marilyn Monroe, she says. I have contracts, obligations, a career, an image, a life I can't escape. I'm trapped. We're all trapped, Étienne says, by our choices, our pasts, our identities. But we can find moments of freedom, like tonight, like this. That's something. That's enough. Is it? Marilyn asks. I don't know, Étienne admits. But it's all we have. They fall asleep, holding each other. Two broken people, finding peace. For one night. When Marilyn wakes, it's morning. The rain has stopped. Sunlight streams through the window. Étienne is gone. On the pillow beside her is a note, written in elegant French handwriting. Chère Norma Jeane, thank you for last night, for the honesty, for the connection, for being real. You asked if moments of freedom are enough. I don't know, but I know they're precious, rare, sacred. Hold on to last night. Remember it. When Marilyn Monroe becomes too heavy, when the performance becomes unbearable, remember the piano in the rain. Remember being Norma Jeane. Remember being seen. Remember being loved, not as an icon, as a human. You are more than Marilyn Monroe. Never forget that. Even when the world does. Even when you do. Au revoir, Étienne. Marilyn reads the note, cries, holds it to her chest. He's right. Last night was precious, rare, sacred. A moment of freedom. A moment of truth. A moment of being Norma Jeane. She gets dressed, goes back to being Marilyn Monroe, back to the movie, back to the performance, back to the lie. But something has changed, something inside her, a small light, a small hope, a small memory, of the piano in the rain, of Étienne, of being seen, of being real, of being Norma Jeane, even if just for one night. She never sees Étienne again. She looks for him, goes back to the club, but he's not there. The bartender says he left Paris, went south, to the countryside, to play piano in small villages, to disappear, like her, like everyone who's broken, trying to find peace, trying to find freedom, trying to find themselves. Marilyn finishes the movie, returns to Hollywood, returns to her life, returns to being Marilyn Monroe, but she keeps the note in her purse, always with her, reads it when the darkness comes, when the pills aren't enough, when the loneliness is unbearable, reads it and remembers. The piano in the rain, the man who saw her, the night she was Norma Jeane, August 1962, Marilyn's final days. She's alone in her house, depressed, dying, lost. She takes out the note, reads it one last time. Remember the piano in the rain. Remember being Norma Jeane. Remember being seen. Remember being loved. She cries, because she does remember. And it hurts, because that night was real, and everything since has been fake. That night she was alive, and everything since has been death. That night she was free, and everything since has been prison. She holds the note, and she makes a decision. She's tired, so tired, tired of being Marilyn Monroe, tired of the performance, Tired of the lie, she wants to be Norma Jeane again. She wants to be free. She wants to be real. Even if the only way to be free is to stop being, to end, to die. She takes the pills, all of them, lies down, closes her eyes, and thinks of Paris, of rain, of music, of Étienne, of the piano in the rain, of being Norma Jeane, one last time, forever. August 5, 1962. Marilyn Monroe is found dead. Among her belongings, in her purse, they find a note, written in French, signed Étienne. The executors don't understand, don't know the story, don't know about Paris, about the club, about the rain, about the piano, about the night Marilyn Monroe was Norma Jeane. They file it away, with other mysteries, other secrets, other pieces that don't fit the image. Years later, a researcher finds the note, traces it back, finds the club in Paris, now closed, abandoned, finds the bartender, retired, old. He remembers, yes, Marilyn Monroe came here, October 1960, with Étienne, the pianist. They spent the night together, talked, connected. Then she left. He left. I never saw either of them again. The researcher tries to find Étienne, searches records, interviews people, finally finds him. In a small village in Provence, still playing piano, in a tiny cafe, for locals, for tourists, for himself. The researcher approaches him. Did you know Marilyn Monroe? Étienne looks up, his face older, weathered, but his eyes still sad, still knowing. I knew Norma Jeane, he says, for one night, in the rain, in Paris, a long time ago. Will you tell me about it? The researcher asks. Étienne shakes his head. No, that night was hers, and mine, private, sacred, secret. It doesn't belong to the world, it belongs to us, to her, to Norma Jeane. Let her keep it. Let her have that one thing, that one night, that one moment of being real. Don't take that from her, please. The researcher respects his wish, doesn't publish the story, doesn't reveal the secret, just keeps it. A mystery, a moment, a truth, that Marilyn Monroe was real, for one night, in Paris, in the rain, with a broken pianist, being Norma Jeane, being seen, being loved, being free. Étienne plays until he dies. 1995, age 70, heart attack. Sudden, painless. At his funeral, they find sheet music, a composition, handwritten, never performed, never recorded, just written. The title, Norma Jeane in the Rain, a piece for solo piano, sad, beautiful, haunting. His final gift, his memorial, his love letter, to the woman he knew for one night, to Norma Jeane, to the real person underneath Marilyn Monroe. The piece is performed, once, at his funeral, by a student. The audience cries, not knowing why, just feeling the sadness, the beauty, the truth. The music speaks what words cannot. Love, loss, connection, memory. One night, in Paris, in the rain, two broken people, finding each other, finding freedom, finding truth, for one perfect, impossible, sacred night. The piano in the rain, and the woman who was real, for one night, before she disappeared, forever. Screen fades to black. Final text appears, the piano in the rain, Paris, October 1960. One night, one connection, one moment of being real, before the end. Then some music speaks what words cannot. Some nights change everything. Some people see us when no one else does. Some moments are sacred, forever. Silence, then faintly, piano music, Norma Jeane in the rain, playing, fading, gone, the end.